Well, hello, 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 and happy Monday. It is Monday on April 3rd, 2023. Super excited to be here with each and every one of you today. It is just about 5:45 p.m. Eastern Time, and I am actually waiting for my good old friend, pal, associate, colleague, and partner in crime to come join me. And I'm sure she will. She's just probably jumping off another event that she was scheduled to be on. There she is as we speak. I knew I wasn't going to be doing this by myself today. Why would I want to do this by myself when I can share this platform with the
I,
amazing,
I literally came from my book group, but I did
yeah,
add my middle name because I'm always saying you can find me, and then if I that middle name to spell is really difficult. So
yes. As I was saying, I knew I was going to share this amazing platform with my good old friend, colleague, and amazing story astrologer. Story astrologer. Yes, she is. Miss Kitty, thank you for coming and joining me. I was like looking at the time. I'm like, I know she's going to be here, but I might have to start without her. And it would be really interesting because you have all of the content for today. I'm just sort of here for the ride.
not really. You get to talk about 11 and healing when we talk about this. So
Yes, that's why I giggled. How are you?
I am doing all right. I am feeling just this is just such an interesting time.
Yes, yes, it is. And because I don't remember, let me just take a peek at something. Let me just look at something rather than me asking Kitty, because that would just make sense. Our topic for today is called Fate, Faith, Freedom, Soul Work. And yes, there's a lot going on. In fact, today, now I don't know if it actually has happened yet or if it's going to happen soon. Mercury has is entering or has entered Taurus. What was the timeline of that?
12:22 Eastern Standard Time. It entered PM.
AM,
PM.
PM, PM. 12:22.
Yes.
Oh, let's talk about that number, shall we?
Sure. So it's 25, which is 7, right?
Well,
Oh,
we're not even going to break it down yet because at 12:22, there's a lot going on with just that number in itself. Lots of twos, and that's all about what Taurus is. It's about our partnerships, our relationships with others, and of course, money and the physical material possessions that every one of us gets so involved in and holding on to that it weighs us the hell down. And then we have that double 22, that double two, which is the 22, which is the builder that we are
yeah.
actually building. That Mercury being in Taurus is going to actually help us to build. Every one of us are building something. And April is a very powerful energy. As Kitty was saying, this is a very powerful month of healing. April carries with each letter the vibration of the number 11, which is about the master healer. And then we take that other two where we have 222, which is about reminding us to stay in our faith. Stay in our faith. This is going to be a fun month. It's going to be a exciting month, but it's also a month of healing, which means you're going to have to stay in your faith because healing, as much as we all get excited when we hear the word, oh, it's master healer, yay, yay, yay. But remember, that means we have work to do. So stay in faith. Things are going to seem a little almost like it's tipping over because it's there for you to really work on something this season. So that is our 12:22. Did I get all the twos in that? Let me just make sure because just thinking about it in my head, I got all the twos, and we don't want to leave out that one because that one is really important as well because it's about the Aries energy of the I am. Who am I during the season? Who do I want to be during the season? And who do I want to collaborate with during the season? And as Kitty was saying, it adds up to our 7, which is definitely a mirror of the collective energy of 2023. It's all
Yeah.
about our spiritual awakening, our spiritual journey,
It,
going
it
within.
it's our Persians.
Yeah, yes. Kitty shared this word with me today. Please spell that word for everybody.
Pre-science.
Pre-science. Now say
It,
it how it actually sounds.
Persians.
Yes. Now tell everybody what that means because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that is really a new word for them.
Well, and it's interesting. I did find one person who knew that word.
Yes, and that was our good old friend Joe Monkman. Yes.
Yes, it was.
Yes.
But he also was, as a child, read Edgar Casey and a lot of Agatha Christie. Interestingly enough, there's a connection there.
Yes.
And he said he really only started using it though a few months ago. It is fascinating. So I'm going to actually read the, because, you know, when you deal in a certain genre, you kind of would think you would run over this word. And several different people from several different walks of life have never heard this word, including a couple of my friends from other walks of life who are voracious readers. And he had, though, but he also read very kind of specific. I bet you perhaps Nikola Tesla would have used that word, if indeed even it was kind of around. Anyway, the definition of it is the fact of knowing something before it takes place. It's not clairsentience, not claircognizance, of that it's like a general understanding knowing. It's literally like a fact knowing. And I think part of the reason this word is coming up is because we have arrived. We have this activation that's happened. We are standing in this new precipice. You know, we are through the doorway. It was interesting. I listened actually to Pam Gregory, who's an astrologer I follow today. And she was saying exactly the same thing. And this was a couple of weeks ago. She was saying it about that week we talked about in March, and how it's just brand new energy. And people need to understand if this is brand new, this is not something that's been recycled, but yet it has been a catalyst for waking up some real ancient knowledge and kind of giving more strength to that ancient knowledge. And so the sentence that they give us, this is from what the Oxford Dictionary is: with extraordinary prescience, Jung actually predicted the Nazi eruption. So it's like, you know that this is going to happen, and you know things that it's not just an idea. You literally know the fact. You've experienced it before it comes into your awareness. And I think as this kind of collective turn has taken, we're going to be hearing a lot more about this. And this word is going to be more front and center. Very interesting to have that many people never have heard this, especially people who are mediums and who studied the clairs, clairsentience. Clairsentience is feeling. Claircognizance is a general know. It's a knowing. Clairaudience is hearing. Clairvoyance is like a prediction, so this isn't foretelling. This is foreknowledge. Like, so it's very, very interesting that this is kind of coming in. That we're going to see a lot more of that kind of shift where there are things that we were sure we once knew, and there are whole groups of us that knew them that way, but it's literally something different. So that's a lot about what's going on. There's a T-square with the fate, the placements of fate for the world axis, actually. So the nodes, north and south node, the moon nodes. And what a T-square is it's a feeling that I've got to get something done. It's a kind of feeling that there has to be a resolution, something has to change, a real push. And that's one of the things that happening. I just realized my notes are on the floor, so I'm going to disappear from the screen. Bye.
That's all good. That's all good. We do magic here too.
And so, it's such an interesting. I'm going to disappear one more time.
There we go. Lots of magic here because it's all about April.
Yes. And so this is really a big soul activation kind of time.
Yes. As you're looking for your notes, I just want to jump back to that word that I'm going to call it prescience. How do you actually say it? Mute my words.
It's got a SH in the middle, prescience, and like a short E.
It's not spelled prescience. So I actually spelled it wrong on my page, by the way.
No, it is spelled prescience, but the SC is pronounced like an SH.
Oh,
and it's a short E, prescience.
Okay. So to me, when I hear that word, if someone were to ask me what that means, that just to me just means knowledge that was defined way before science became science.
It's a kind of it's a knowing.
Yeah,
So
it's just knowing things. It's, it almost confirms and allows us to use our intuition to come up with what words actually really mean, as opposed to what they mean in the dictionary.
yeah, it's a kind of knowledge that existed. So and so with this, and it makes sense to me that there is a fact that we know some things, we know these things are coming, we know it's changing. We need to kind of identify what that is. It's a noun that really describes action, a verb, a way of being. And so am, is, are, was, were, be, been are verbs of being, but this is a noun describing an action. And
Yes.
so in this T square, where there's a need to persevere, a need to, it's a restlessness, a pressure for change on our nodal, what the world's highest goal for the soul is for the world, it is what's happening. By the way, this lasts till November, but we actually have a nodal change, but this T square remains. So that's interesting by itself. Plus, this is all happening with a lot of things at zero. So this is about karmic reset. So that's part of that pressure. And so it might feel like someone's trying to steer you off the path. And, there's a lot of layers of endings and beginnings that are happening here. And so knowing your own soul's work and where those conversations are taking place, because that's being activated. Interestingly enough, if you know your chart, looking at the first 4 degrees of any fixed sign, which is Aquarius, Leo, Taurus, and Scorpio. That's our nodal axis, Taurus and Scorpio. Any placements you have or looking at placements in those houses are going to be quite activated. And the thing about fixed energy is, which is what's so interesting about this T squared to begin with, is fixed energies have a hard time changing and shifting. And here we are in this really big change, this really big movement, and it's very personal, and so there's a little resistance there about but it's all about the self. Taurus is about our values, who we are, ruled by in our abundance, money, and Scorpio is about the collective money, the collective power, the collective piece of that, because Scorpio is the only thing that's consistent in life: change, the power of change, the power of death and rebirth. So there's a lot of endings and beginnings, a lot of personal choice. It's a real evolutionary vibe that's happening. And it's especially kind of up until this, till June 11th, when
they change, yes?
Well, no, June 11th is when Pluto moves out of Aquarius and goes
back to Capricorn.
But it goes to the karmic completion level of Capricorn. So Capricorn's about our structures. So after we've kind of looked at this vision of what those structures are, what our soul is asking us to do, now it goes back to the structure and actually changes it. There's actually a real interesting amount of energy, and we'll definitely be on for 420 with the eclipse and stuff, because there's a sextile with our will, our warrior energy, and that new Saturn in Pisces, the power washer. And so that's helping as we get closer to that structure to make sure that structure is what we want it to be, and all of those kinds of things. So it's just interesting. That's why it's about fate. It's called the fate. What was it that I sign up for, my soul contract? And remember, soul contracts can be shifted.
Yes.
If it's time to let them go. And that's part of this new arrival, is we're letting go of some of these loops in our evolution we have gotten ourselves into.
Yeah. Well, we spoke about that, I think, yesterday. I mean, I spoke about it to you yesterday in reference to a live that I did regarding how so many are manifesting and taking these leap of faith into something new, but sort of feeling stuck because they're still holding on to all of their old contracts from
Their
the
old
previous,
structures.
yeah,
Yes. So
from their previous as I like to call it, character, that they're holding on to that and trying to move into a new character, and it just doesn't work that way. You really do have to let that structure fall apart so you can move into that new energy that one is taking the leap of faith to do.
right. And it's, this is a very interesting full moon because it's about justice and equality and the individualness as much as Aries is a part of that. And interestingly enough, our Mars energy, which I didn't realize today until I listened to Pam Gregory, so thank you for that, is kind of beyond its scope of past the. So the reason it's a personal energy has to do with the arc with the sun, and it's kind of past that. So in Cancer, it really is helping us with our not being at war, but our warrior energy, are very much stepping into our individualism, our ability to, our courage, our individuality. And Mars is really helping us support that Aries energy to nurture it because it's in this Cancer energy. And interestingly enough, Mars' sister, Eris, which is very rarely talked about, is also in Aries, though she's in, takes her 560 years to go through a cycle. So she's in it for a long time. But what's kind of interesting is that Jupiter is halfway between that placement of Eris. Eris is the female warrior. It is the receiving warrior who makes sure everybody's voice is heard. Everybody has a voice in their lessons, and it won't give up because it believes in natural law. So the fact that all of this karma is being reset is really interesting because it's being reset. So natural law is a really big part of this. So it's such a time for manifesting and discernment. Be
Yes.
careful. What did she say? I wrote the quote down. Oh, I liked it. Stay in your, I wish I had a British accent. Stay in your bubble of peace. Just stay in it. Get yourself there, get yourself aligned with your own soul's goal and stay in it, because there's going to be a lot of other people who are not quite understanding this full moon energy that's out there, that it's beyond, it is natural law. It is all of those things that we're evolving to step into. The laws of existence, of attraction, of all of those things. So
Yeah, so this is quite a season, as we call it, quite a season regarding everything that is taking place and how we ourselves can, each one of us, step in and shine to what it is we're looking to manifest into our what's aligned with that soul's calling that we're looking to manifest. And for me, I'm all about my soul's calling. I'm all about, like, okay, what can I do to really be really perfectly aligned with it so I can serve my purpose to being here.
Right.
It's almost as though I feel that when it's time for me to cross over, that there's literally going to be someone at that light, so to speak, to say to me, so did you fulfill your purpose? And if not, you got to go back. That's like that mindset that I have, is like, okay, I have to fulfill this purpose that I was given, because otherwise I have to come back. I mean, theoretically.
So your mindset really is, I am fulfilling my purpose. I've already fulfilled it. I'm just now taking the steps that I'm doing.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's weird though, because as you say that I have already fulfilled my purpose. It's so weird because I feel like my purpose has expanded. That it's like, wow, there's just so much more to this purpose. That I've only literally touched a portion of that purpose, because there's so much more to it.
And that's often how it works. It's it's a revealing, and
Yes.
but we've now collectively gone through this kind of doorway that things are being revealed. Things are easier to manifest. The body is now traveling more with the soul, not in its separation. That DNA is awakening, remember for a while there, they used to talk about junk DNA. And I always thought of the expression, God don't make no junk, and,
Exactly.
but it is about our divinity. It is stepping into it with the body, with the way we live our lives. And, on the world axis is this nurturing of that. Mars is sitting there. And all of these, there's a lot of squares happening with Pluto. There's one today, Mercury in Taurus, after it went into Taurus, squared Pluto. And wherever square is a resistance. So what are we resisting saying? What are we resisting hearing or experiencing in this transformation? But what's nice about a square is, just like a T-square, it is an opportunity. It is a place to focus, and it is a place to pause where we all meet and make a decision. So that part's kind of important, especially because we have free will.
Yes, yes. And when we think of this energy, what was coming to me as you were saying all of that, especially with the resistance, with the squares, the resistance we may very well feel in our body. And I speak on that because I can speak from experience for today. I mean, there's a lot going on with my body today where it's talking to me. The hips are really talking today in reference to like slight discomfort, but not too bad. And honoring my body enough to say, okay, well, I'm going to go rest. I'm going to just lay down for a little bit just to allow myself to be in that consciousness of what it is my body, what it is specifically my hips are actually saying to me in this energy that we are in. And I put this information out there, this insight for others as well to pay attention. In fact, I just finished writing an article, and I'm just going to give you the title of the article. I'm not going to give away the article, just the title, because I found the title to be so interesting. When I come up with titles for my articles, I often wonder where it comes from. It could be that new word, and the title I think I'm going to be going with is The Hidden Wisdom Within Your Body. And I do believe that our body, especially when it shows up with discomfort, whatever it may be, our body is actually trying to tell us something. And because we do have all this energy taking place today, where Mercury just entered Taurus, we have a full moon coming up, we have a lot of other energies coming up this week, that itself creates a whole lot of energy in our body system where we may be experiencing a chakra activation, or some chakras may actually start to open after being stagnant for a little while. So that's going to may very well create this body discomfort as things start to shift externally and then, of course, internally. So pay attention to what it is your body is actually doing. If you are experiencing any type of discomfort, allow yourself to sit with it for a little while. Grade your level of pain, of course, level of discomfort. Of course, if it's a 10, go and take care of it. But if it's somewhere below a 10, somewhere between 5, 4, etc., allow yourself just to sit with it and ask, literally place your hands on it like I do, and ask your body, what is your body trying to tell you? What is the hidden wisdom that's trying to show up? Where is there possibly an imbalance in your body based on the energy that's going on around us? And what resistance are you resisting with all this change that we're all experiencing, whether we are conscious of it or not? Every one of us are changing. I mean, we are definitely not the same we were 3 years ago. Oh my God, we are so different.
We are the same as we were 2 weeks ago.
Well, that too, but I always like to take it further back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But it's very interesting because think of something that used to activate you, commonly called trigger you, and see if you can, that no longer does, see if you can even remember the paradigm at which that developed. Like, can you feel that paradigm? And most of us can't. Like, oh, that's really, really very different.
Exactly. Exactly. So like usual, Kitty and I would love to share some more insight by pulling some cards for each and every one of us, including the two of us. And what I like to do today to start off with, I like for you and I to pull a card for each other, and then we're going to pull cards for everybody else. Are you open for that?
I am open for it. I just reached in for a deck and I got my Avalon deck. So
Right.
that was the one that wants to come out for you, Joanne.
Excellent. So as you're getting your deck together, I'm going to shuffle mine and see what one card Kitty needs. This is for Kitty. And of course, if it resonates with every one of you as well, it's for you too, but it's specifically for Kitty. And then we're going to probably read one or two for the collective. So the card that wants to come out for Kitty. Oh, this is so, we can't make this shit up. Balance. Balance. Were we just not talking about balance?
And what number is that?
That is 76. That is that 4 energy, very much associated with where Mars is in Cancer. And when we speak of that Cancer energy, as Kitty mentioned, it really is about home. It's about that balance you want to have with your family, the balance you want to have with work, the balance you want to have with play, the balance you want to have with rest, the balance you want to have with your body as well. Balance is really important. So if for whatever the reasons are, Kitty, you, and I know for this week for sure, you're allowing yourself to have some downtime. And that's an amazing thing. And that's something that you just have to remind yourself. Where do I want to bring more balance into my life? Balance into your life. And that 4 energy is just bringing it into the work that you do. The work that you do, your home. And when I'm hearing this one, it's really about the balance to your work. The balance to your work. And then, of course, that pink energy is all about giving yourself grace, giving yourself compassion. What I'm actually literally seeing is giving yourself a hug, like literally wrapping your hands around yourself and giving yourself a hug. How often do you give yourself a hug?
Not often.
Yeah, so maybe it's a good day to give yourself a hug. So that's your message for today. Give yourself a hug.
So 2 came out for you.
Of course. Why would it only be 1?
And the first one that came out was Talk to the Moon.
Oh, yes, right up my alley.
Invite dreams and messages, because you're going to be using the water cleaning to recalibrate your energy. So, of course, water is emotion and you're recalibrating. So talk to the moon about your real dreams. And sometimes when we go to talk about our dreams, we think we know what they are, but when we go to put them into words, it's very hard to get the concept out. So our moon, and that's an important thing about this particular month. You're going to be doing that a lot, Joanne, because we need to go through a whole cycle of the moon. Each activation of this moon cycle. So we're in Libra moon. So we've gone from the Aries moon through the Taurus moon to the Cancer moon to the Leo out of Virgo. So we're about halfway through that cycle. And I think 17th, we're back to Aries moon. And why that's important, talking to the moon, is each of those energy has a piece for us in this activation of our soul, in this activation that it is talking to guide us all the way through with our moon energy, where we're comfortable, where we talk to our ancestors. And then I love this. I've never pulled this card before, by the way.
With the water? Yes.
Water cleansing, recalibrate your energy. I try to do that in the shower sometimes, just sit there and say, okay, wash, But yeah, so we had a big discussion about that this morning. How do we recalibrate when we have reactions to things we just know don't serve us anymore? Exactly. How do we recalibrate that emotion, that's water, to again, that whole idea, I can't even remember the paradigm for those things I have let go of. And of course, full moons are about letting go. And this is a full moon of balance. It's about social justice. It's about social. What am I letting go of? What am I forgiving? And what am I having great gratitude I've figured out? So those are your cards.
Thank you. I will definitely sit and connect with the moon. Now, when you speak of connecting with the moon and the moon cycle from working through all the zodiac signs, you're speaking of based on the daily, or are you speaking of based on all the full moons?
Daily. A whole cycle from the new moon that was Aries all the way to the next new moon, by the way, which will also be Aries. That's unusual, but it just happens to be. But the next time the moon enters Aries, not necessarily the new moon, so that we've touched each of the zodiac their energy and what that kind of moon is stepping forward. And that Pluto, this planet of transformation, the vision of transformation, has had its first interaction with this moon energy.
I love it.
And brought your nodes some information about, how do I step into this purpose? Do I still want to step into this purpose? There might be some people coming to that conclusion.
Yes, well, I'm very interested. I'm very intrigued by this expansion of my purpose, and kind of really curious. Does that even make sense? But it does now, in reference to the direction. Up until now, I mean, I really thought I had a really clear vision of what my purpose was, but it's looking so different.
Well, and you have a North Node in Pisces in the 9th house of learning. So if you really think about it, your whole life is that lifelong learning expansion with spirit of what that flow looks like. And maybe that's part of what you're realizing your purpose is, that I am going to continue to experience this and put it out. I have the opposite North Node. So mine's in the 8th house in Virgo. Mine is about bringing the spirituality into the mundane, into everything I do. That balance makes perfect sense. That is what my North Node is trying to do. How do I balance the physical and balance, the dreams, all of those things? How do I make it the practicality? And I've always been a person who is very drawn to what's practical, and yet I have a expanded understanding of practicality. Some people would say a skew, perhaps, but
Yes.
Everybody has opinions. They're welcome to them.
Yep, exactly. So now what we're going to do is we're going to pull cards for the collective and see what.
I already had 2 jump out. So yeah.
All right, so pull yours because I'm shuffling mine.
So this is no surprise. Awakening Avalon. And look, it's the Northern Lights. We've had such a show of the Northern Lights recently. And it's connecting to the sacred realm. And this is when we're talking about our soul's purpose, connecting to what our soul is asking us and understanding as above, so below, that the patterns of the universe flow with the cosmic cycles. And this is our cosmic cycle, this activation of the soul. It's a kiss for the soul, a blessing for the soul this month.
I love that. Now, of course, I had to outbeat Kitty's 2-card pull, and out of my deck 3 cards fell out, and I was like, oh my god, it actually looks like Easter colors. Let me just show you this.
It does look like Easter. I just bought some Easter stuff today, so yes, it does, exactly.
Yeah. And 2 of the 3 cards are in reverse. So reverse cards are just a reminder that we want to pay attention to the messages that we are receiving. And we really do want to work on the chakras that are associated with the colors. So the 2 colors in reverse are yellow and the turquoise. Yellow is your solar plex, which is reminding us, based on this date that we have, the time that Mercury entered Taurus today, that choo is reminding us to have faith. Trust that whatever insight you are receiving, trust it, follow it, and go with it. Trust it. Don't second guess. And what is it that you actually do need to share? What is your message that you need to share to start sharing it? Now, of course, I'm going to turn the cards upright so I can actually see them. So the blue is all about our spiritual career, which theoretically, when we think about soul's calling, doesn't necessarily have to be something spiritually related, like, let's say, healing or anything in that realm, but just something that you truly love doing and you don't mind doing it even if you didn't get paid to do it. That's 7-7, which brings us right back to that 7 energy, which is our spiritual journey that we're all on this year. Works out to be a 5, which is the massive changes we're experiencing with this energy that is unfolding right in front of us. So that's our first card. Second card, which is interesting, which was in the reverse, the old soul. Remembering the old soul of who you were, because you're not that person anymore. You are literally changing right in front of your own eyes. That 8 energy, which is very much associated with that Pluto in Aquarius, which is about the transformation that you are undergoing. And who you are right now, even in a few days from now or a few weeks from now, you're not going to recognize who you are as well. So there's massive change that old soul is reminding you of those experiences that you are having, those things that may be activating you, the old activations, as Kitty mentioned in quoting, the triggers. What is activating your energy right now? What might be causing you to be a little off balance, imbalance, not quite there, not quite yourself? But recognize it. Is it really the energy you're in now, or is it the old energy? So pay attention to that. And then this one's really my favorite one, rebirth, because that's really what we're all experiencing. We're having a reset. Whether you are born in April and it's your birthday month, or you're born in March, whatever the case is, every one of us are experiencing a reset right now. And it is really important to be, as I said to Kitty before, have grace with yourself, have patience with yourself, be kind to yourself. And as you do that for yourself, do the same for others, because everybody's experiencing a rebirth. It's not just Kitty and I and you, it's every one of us are experiencing a rebirth.
And hold that bubble of peace.
And as I say this, I get this amazing, oh my God, it's so strong. Amazing tingling sensation, literally in the back of my head. Woo, my goodness gracious. It's like, really, it literally distracted me. Whoa, can you calm down a little bit, please? Trying to sort of contain it because it's really strong. Anyway, our 2-in-1, which brings us back into that Mercury Taurus energy, which I feel like we just did a full circle here, which is what we started with. Now we get to end. Communication, how you value the relationships you're in, how you value your collaborations, how you value your money, how you value yourself. And this is a perfect time to step up.
And remember,
say it again.
Remember, with Mercury in Taurus, it only moves at the pace it's meant to communicate, which is actually a gift for us with all of these beginnings and all these activations and needing our soul, that it allows us a different level of discernment because it's very pedantic in its movement to figure stuff out. So it does slow us down. And we have Mercury going retrograde, which is another thing this month. There's a reason Mercury is slowing in Taurus. It's in retrograde because it is us wanting us to, we're going to see people snapping. And this is a great time to learn, what my opinion is before it comes out of my mouth. Do I really believe that? Is this a hill I'm willing to lay down on? I'm a big fan, as you know, Joanna, Byron Katie. Her first question is, do I know this to be true? And then her second question is, do I really know this is true? So-and-so is innocent. Do I really know that? Or they're guilty. Do I know for sure? And if I can let go of the charge around it, then there's that Eris energy. The law of nature that brings it forward will step forward for us.
Exactly. So as usual, Kitty, it was fun. It's always fun to play. Always fun to play. And you can always catch Kitty and I on Facebook because we are there. Kitty has this amazing private group. What's the name of that private group, Kitty?
Intuition of the Soul. And you can also, now that I have my name spelled out there for you, Kitty Budo Frost, you can reach me on Messenger. And then I also have a private class that's called Optimize. And it's about learning how to use that chart of energy as a map for you, what you want to access, where your conversations take place. We're going to start a new class at the end of April. So I'll be talking more about that. So
excellent. And I just want to put it out there. This is fairly new information. I think I speak about this very, very limited in regards to Holistic Fitness Academy that I've been working on behind the scenes, really trying to get it up and going in reference to different type of classes that I'm going to be offering in the academy. Obviously, it's a virtual academy. So those of you who are interested in learning more about this academy and how it will benefit you and even help you become, as I like to say, you become the student, then you become the practitioner, and then eventually you become the master. So if this sounds like you, go ahead and reach out. You can email healingwithin76@gmail.com, and let's see where this can take you. Till then, Kitty, it's been real.
Namaste.
Everybody else, it's been great. We will be back very soon to talk about the rest of the energy that's going on this month. But till then, enjoy today. Bye bye for now.